But first, the latest on last night's fatal plane crash in Bangor. One that we are now being told claimed 6 lives with no survivors. So earlier in the day, the Federal Aviation Administration had said there were 8 people on that business jet, with a lone crew member surviving.
The agency has since deferred to Bangor authorities for that information. What we do know for sure is that the flight originated in Houston and landed at Bangor International Airport around 6:09 last night. We do not know where it was heading to when it crashed on takeoff. We do have team coverage, though, tonight. News Center Maine's Brianna Bush is at the Bangor International Airport, and Sam Olson is in the newsroom with more on the final minutes before the crash. Sam, we start with you tonight.
Brian and Amanda, one of the things federal investigators will be looking at is the weather conditions at the time of the crash. The Associated Press is reporting that the pilot of an Allegiant Air flight had aborted its takeoff just a few minutes before because of an icing issue and low visibility due to the snow. The pilot of the business jet, which had just refueled in Bangor, had requested the plane be de-iced before taking off, and that the plane was on the de-icing pad for about 20 minutes before taxiing to the runway. I spoke with an aviation expert and a former NTSB investigator this afternoon. He told me the Bombardier Challenger 600 series has a history of problems with icing on takeoff, and even a little bit of ice could cause serious problems.
The airplane begins to come off the runway, and then because of an asymmetry with the contaminated wings, one wing will tend to roll over and the airplane will roll over on itself, which appears to be what happened here.
Jeff Gazzetti says the first thing NTSB investigators will do is look for the flight recorders. He says it is very likely it had at least a cockpit voice recorder, but investigators will also look to see if it had a flight data recorder. He says he expects this investigation will take at least 1 year. Brian, Amanda.
Sam Olson live for us tonight, kicking us off in the newsroom. Sam, thank you. We do have team coverage. Want to bring in now News Center Maine's Brianna Bush.
Brianna spoke with someone who witnessed the crash. She's at a very quiet Bangor International Airport tonight. Hi, Brianna.
Hi, Amanda and Brian. That's right. The airport is closed and will remain closed until at least noon on Wednesday. And right now, we're also looking at we're told that we're awaiting the arrival of the National Transportation Safety Board, who will be investigating the crash. And flights in and out of Bangor right now are delayed for the foreseeable future. And I actually spoke with someone who was stranded here in Bangor and actually witnessed the crash from her hotel room.
We saw an orange flash through the window of the hotel. Then we heard a loud boom, and we weren't sure what had happened. But when we did find out that it was a plane crash, we figured that that would definitely be affecting our flight. And we were worried that the weather was going to affect it. But it turned out that in this case, it was the crash.
Now, airport officials say that if your flight is canceled, to check your flight details to see any updated information. And we're going to keep you updated as we learn more about this investigation here and online. And we'll just keep you updated. In Bangor, Brianna Bush, News Center, Maine.
All right, Brianna, thank you. Now, this plane involved in the Bangor crash was a Bombardier Challenger 600 series, which has a generally solid safety record. But there have now been 8 fatal crashes involving that plane in the U.S. in the last 25 years.
The deadliest one was in May of 2019 when a plane carrying 13 people, which had taken off from Las Vegas, crashed in the mountains just north of Monterrey, Mexico, after encountering very strong turbulence. The most recent that we could find in our research today was the crash of a Challenger aircraft in Naples, Florida. This was February of 2024. The flight crew reported they had lost engine power and were not going to make it back to the airport. They ended up crashing along a highway. 2 members of that crew were killed. 3 others survived with minor injuries.